Hey, everybody. It's Cleo and Pearl, and this is Scuttlebutt, and we are here again. This is this is our getting to be our favorite show. So I'm so glad everybody showed up, and we've been getting some good response and some great comments, and I love it when you guys leave some comments because then we know at least somebody's watching because we
Yeah.
are fairly new. I believe this is our eighth show, so thanks for paying attention. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching our show. And thank you to everybody that will subscribe and like this show because it helps our logarithms on YouTube. So thank you. All right. Well, we've been talking about politics for about the whole time. Um, and this week is no different than any other time. It's just been a very crazy time, as usual. And one of the things I wanted to talk about is the big, beautiful ballroom that Trump
Oh.
has to have. That's I
Wah,
don't,
wah, wah, wah. Go ahead.
I don't even know if it's a ballroom anymore. I mean, they're talking about like, is it a bomb shelter? Is it a place to go when somebody else decides to throw a nuclear bomb in the United States? Or they're saying that it's all the security things that making it cost more because they have to have big security because every time we turn around, well, like somebody tried to the attempted assassination at the other event that they wished they had a ballroom right then and there. They didn't. Well, a little something came up with the Senate this week, and they said, you know what? No, we're not funding this. We're not going for it. You have to go through the proper channels because he has not done anything through the proper channels with this ballroom. I mean, he just
Mhm,
wiped out a whole wing of the White House. I believe it was
mhm.
the East Wing.
Yes,
Oh,
the East Wing. It's demolished. It's just a
yeah, it's just
pile of
gone.
rubble. Pile of rubble.
And he never went through any of the normal channels to get permission to do that because he doesn't need permission. He's King Trump. So it did go through the Senate, and the Senate said no, we're not funding this without going through the proper channels, which means you've got to go through Congress, and Congress has to come up with 60 votes that says they want to do this. The problem with that is they don't have the 60 votes. They've got to get votes from the Democrats in order to get 60 votes.
Right. Right.
Uh, so I just thought this was so interesting that somebody said, "Uh-uh, no, 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 we're not doing this." And he does not take no. He just doesn't accept that. So this will be interesting to see how he's going to do things. It's just like what he has done with when the court said, "You know what? Your tariffs are illegal, and you're going to have to give some money back." And then another court, I think it was like a week later, brought up another thing that said, no, the tariffs, because they've kind of split the tariffs into two categories or three, I don't know, what would be legal and what wouldn't be. Well, the one that was not legal was real obvious. And yes, as soon as the court determined we're not going to do this, they immediately, all these businesses, I mean, big businesses, sued to get their money back. And and then we're all talking like, oh yeah, yeah, sure, we're going to give the money back. Oh no, wait a minute. Trump changed his mind, and now he's challenging that decision by the court because he doesn't want to give all the money back. I'm thinking, well, it figures you took it illegally. Everybody was just up in arms in the first place, but they went along with it, had no choice. They paid those tariffs, and now he doesn't want to give it back. So that's just another thing that came up that was like, uh-oh, oh, this is not working out well. Um, and then another thing that came up was uh, another federal judge wants to reopen the case about. Remember the thing about all the the taxes that Trump was suing the Department of Justice and the IRS because they allowed his taxes to be shown to the public. And the more we looked at that, it was like $750 was the big tax that he paid, which
Mhm.
is kind of strange for somebody that's a, a billionaire, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and so anyway, a new judge said, I think it's well, maybe it's the
No, it's
same.
the same judge.
It's the
The
same
same.
judge. Excuse me,
Mhm.
same
Mhm.
judge said, no, we're going to look at this again. This is not right because they determined that that Trump would not have to pay would not be held liable for anything that happened before May 2026.
Well, yeah, but before they even got to that point, what the Trump people did, is they kinda jerry-rigged a thing around and said, "Oh, okay, well, we're gonna drop that suit." And the judge was like, "Okay, then case dismissed, you're dropping the suit." And then they went and they filed with the courts a settlement agreement and put the judge's initials on it.
Oh, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. So they file that, and the judge is like, "Wait a minute. Scooby, what? You're not putting my initials on anything. We dismissed this case. There was no settlement agreement that I saw, and you don't have any standing to do this." And that's when they said, "Oh, well, we're just, we dismissed the case. We're just backing out of it. And, this is just what all the parties agreed."
Well, then they're saying because he sued for $10 billion or
Right,
million,
right, right.
and so they said in order to do that, instead of doing that, we're going to set up a slush fund.
Well, wait, even before we get to that.
Okay.
So after the judge gets "No, you're not, because you basically forged my initials on this thing," because it wasn't her signature, she initialed it as if she endorsed the settlement agreement, and the settlement agreement is what they're basing the slush fund on. That's what that agreement is creating that slush fund.
Okay.
And in the meantime, when all this was happening, then that's when the other judges wrote to this original judge and said, "You are right. This needs to be investigated, and you have the right to do this." So now you pick up your part of the story.
Okay, so the slush fund was for anti-weaponization fund, which was going to go to people like some of the January 6th people would get money
Yeah.
for I don't know what because Trump is saying that they were wrongly accused or that they took a risk by yeah, they did take a risk. They did a lot of illegal things, but he had pardoned everybody. So, uh yeah, they wanted to set up a 1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund.
Mhm.
So, um between that and what you were just talking about, the court is looking at this because they're trying to figure out if it constituted fraud against the courts.
It
I mean,
certainly did,
this
yeah.
thing just gets so convoluted about
And
what.
that's what Trump loves. He just loves to, throw everything at the wall, see what sticks. That's what he's going with. And in the meantime, the court is rightfully saying, "Okay, no, you first of all, you didn't really have a case because you were both the plaintiff and the defendant in the case because you're the president of the United States. So right there, it's a hinky case. And now you've gone and broken the law by submitting this settlement agreement where you forged my initials. And third, the whole premise on the settlement agreement is illegal. You can't do that." So there's so many ways to Tuesday where this is just illegal, corrupt, wrong, shouldn't be there. He's just doing all the
So
wrong things.
do you understand it to be that the illegal part is this slush fund, or is it also the determination that Trump and all his kids can't go back in
All of it.
time?
It's every step of the way. There are illegal elements going on there. First of all, him bringing the suit. He's both defendant and plaintiff, and you can't be that. Then there's why you're suing yourself. Okay. So there's that. Then there's the, when the judge didn't seem to be going their way, then they just drop the suit. And so then she says, okay, I'll dismiss the case. Then, despite the fact that the suit is dropped, then they do this illegal settlement agreement. They draft up this settlement agreement, and within that agreement are all those elements saying you can't do this, you're not going to do that. But he's talking about himself. He is the government, and he's talking about I'm going again, this who is the agreement between? And a settlement agreement, you have parties. Now you can have multiple parties,
Well,
but
it was the DOJ and the IRS.
yeah. And then they're saying, well, now these other parties who are seemingly could be wronged, like the Trump family, now they're all immune from having any kind of investigations or penalties levied against them, and
Or,
they can
or
just do
being
whatever.
audited, being
Or being
audited with their
audited, yeah, all of
taxes.
so it's all illegal. It's all illegal.
Well,
And
because it's also stuff we've never ever heard of before. Nobody has.
right.
You've never heard of this.
But you need to tell the people about the letter the judges wrote.
Well, yes, there was what would you say? 35 judges,
35 retired federal judges.
who got a hold of the original judge that is now saying, "Wait a minute, there feels like there's fraud. There feels like there's some hanky-panky going on here." But they came to her and said, "You need to stop this. You need to take action on this."
Yes.
Because you have every right to do it. This smells like fraud. And
Yes.
so it's changing everything. Now, whether it will turn things around and they'll say, for one thing, it's the slush fund, because the slush fund will be paid out to people like the January 6th people.
Right.
So one thing that happened with that, hold on here a minute.
Before the judge's letter was even written, this happened. Go ahead.
That the blue states are pushing for 100% tax on the anti-weaponizing payouts. So let's say that it actually did ever get to that. All the Democratic states that have people in that state that would benefit from the slush fund that's illegal right now anyway, are not going to, supposedly isn't going to happen. But if they did get some money because they participated in January 6th and then were pardoned by the president, that the states want 100% tax on that weaponization payout. That is just amazing to me that they so quickly jumped on the bandwagon.
They're learning.
It's a proposal right now. It's a proposal,
Mhm.
but it's a full tax payout from Trump's anti-weaponization fund. And there is questions about the legal question is whether the states can treat these payouts as taxable income.
Oh, sure they can.
Well, it says states generally have broad authority to tax income, but the issue may face constitutional challenges if payouts are deemed federal compensatory. I don't know how to say the word compensation, federal compensation awards. So why in the world would these people that had already gotten pardoned, now they're talking millions of dollars they want. They want millions of dollars because they spent time in prison for something that they actually did do, that they were now pardoned, but that doesn't matter. And now they went home, they're pardoned, it screwed up their finances. And so now they want some money for doing something illegal. And Trump is saying, yeah, give it to him. Of course he is. He is a con man. Let's not forget he himself is guilty of 34 felonies. So, yeah, he's going with the other cons and saying, sure, I'll help you guys out. Why not?
Well,
Why
that's
not?
what the whole MAGA thing is about. It's all about corruption. It's all about supporting people who break laws and are criminals. And it's all about, making money off of all of this. That's what it's all about. Even the little guys, these little guys, and I guess he's elevating the people who attacked the Capitol on January 6th. He's elevating them to, in this instance, to get their buy-in, to get them to stay supportive of him because he's losing support all over the place. And
Oh,
how
yeah.
many and if there's any hint that they are actually going to get this money, how many of those people do you think are going to move to red states in a hurry?
Well, there's yeah, of course they will.
Of course they will. If they don't already live in a red state.
But, if something like this does occur, I don't see it happening.
I don't
I
either.
just don't see
I
it
think they
happening.
stopped it right now with that judge doing her action, and I think that's gonna stop it right now. What do you wanna make a bet? In 2 weeks, which is the magic time for Dumpy, in 2 weeks, you're gonna hear him say, "Oh, we're not doing that anymore. We just dropped that."
Yeah, we got something better going on.
Yeah, we got something better.
Which, by the way, everything is two-faced with the Trump administration.
No,
Now
he's a Gemini. He's a Gemini, so of course it's two-faced.
we did talk about this on one of the other shows about the Trump phone. So I read an article about a week ago that said, "Oh, hey, the Trump phones are going to happen, and they're going to be gold, and they're going to be this and that." And all these people that paid in the money, it's gonna start happening, and they're getting in the process of fulfilling the orders. And I thought, really? Because when we did that show not that long ago, it was just completely nothing was ever happening with it, and nothing could happen. And people were out $100, but there was so many people that paid $100 that it ended up being 60 million. And I thought, okay, so the 60 million was used to create the phones. I'm thinking, I'm wrong all the way around. That article was completely bogus, completely nonsense. Nothing like that has happened. There is still no phones.
Oh, really?
And yes. And when I went back to try to find the article again, I couldn't. But the way it read, it made it sound so real, and like they knew what they were talking about and how happy these people were going to be. There was just one little caveat, and this is why it came up, is why I could finally find out that it wasn't real, is that it said a lot of the people that put that $100 down for their phone, that the computers, the whatever had been breached, and somebody walked away with a whole lot of people's financial information from that, and that wasn't real either. So hopefully neither one of those things. I mean, I'd hate to see all these people who already got screwed out of $100 now by doing something that they thought they were doing to be patriotic with the president, that now suddenly that somebody's hacking into their bank accounts or hacking into their credit cards. And hopefully that doesn't happen either. I think the whole article was just a lot of nonsense to make us feel like, yay, something positive is happening. No, they promised phones and here they are. No, there's no phones. You're out your $100. It's the same thing we said a couple weeks ago. Nothing has changed except that they added that thing about uh, other people's financial information had been breached. That they, corrupt. They're taking their stuff. They're hacking into that. I can't find anything on it right now, but I'm gonna keep looking because talk about
Well,
adding insult to injury. I mean,
but that's Trump's MO too. I'm a victim, you're a victim, we're all victims.
and that's why we need to have a ballroom. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we need it. Yeah, when they finally do break ground on the ballroom, they're gonna find a big cache of gold iPhones, under the floor, you know.
and so, poor Trump. Things aren't just things aren't
Poor
going his
Trump.
way.
What a guy.
He's trying to have a big birthday bash for the 250th birthday for the
Oh,
United States.
yes. Oh, yeah.
And here he brought in all these, I guess, well-known musical acts and stuff, and every single one of them except one has dropped out. It said no. We thought this was nonpartisan, and we thought this was about celebrating the 250 years of the United States, and it turns out to be more politically motivated than anything else. And so they
Well,
said
that
no.
is so surprising and disappointing.
I know, because I was getting ready for that concert. It was going to be the America's birthday concert,
I had my DVR all queued up for it.
and you know what happened then? And so Trump just said, "Fine, I don't need you people." And he called them all third rate, and then he starts putting down the people that said, "We're not doing." They had a completely legitimate reason for not doing it, because they had been told it was nonpartisan, and it wasn't. And so they said, "I'm sorry, no, I can't do this. I can do something for the United States, but I can't do this for a political party. Either way, Democrat, Republican, it didn't matter." So Trump says, "Hey, no problem. I can handle this myself." And he calls himself the greatest of all time, the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. And he has actually come out and said that he is the number one attraction in the world. In the world, an attraction. And he claims
Oh my god.
and he claims that he's resurrected the country, which was well, he revived a dead country, which is our
Dead
country.
country. It's dead.
Yeah, that's what he said. He revived a dead country
Oh
and
god.
turned it into the hottest country anywhere.
This man is like 13 years old. Like, he has the mentality, the emotional maturity of a 13-year-old. I mean, just what in the
Oh, I'd
hell?
say about an 8-year-old,
Well,
really. But
maybe an 8-year-old. Although, but do 8-year-olds really think about how hot people are and how hot things are? No.
he's just, I
He's an
can't,
idiot.
he
He's an
gets
idiot.
away with this stuff. And so what he wants to do is basically have this giant rally.
Yeah, of course, because that's what he loves.
Yeah, that he can just sit around and talk about how wonderful what he has done. That's been so wonderful, and how he saved the country. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know how he revived a dead country. Joe Biden is the one that actually brought the country back up to everybody working, everybody getting vaccinated, getting past COVID, not Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is actually the one that's made it a dead country. Right now, our inflation is starting to rise. We are having a lot of trouble. Cars aren't selling. Car manufacturers are having trouble.
Yeah,
Um,
big trouble.
this thing about the tariffs, that brings me up another thing. Well, first, let me say about the auto thing. New vehicle sales have fallen for 8 straight months, and the market has lost about 1 million buyers. And
Mm.
they're predicting a rebound. They were predicting a rebound of 17 million annual sales, but that's been abandoned because things aren't working out. They now expect it to remain stuck or near a below 16 million for years. They don't see it coming back for years. That's what kind of a mess this is now.
Well, what would bring it back? What I mean, we can't get steel. We can't. We're in bad relationship with Canada and Mexico, which is where 2/3 of the car is built. Because no car gets built just in America. There may be something that starts in America, then they send it to Mexico for a certain part, then they send it to Canada for a certain part, then it comes back to the US and we try to sell it. We are not doing things the same way, I don't think, with Mexico or Canada. So slower to make the cars, more expensive to make the cars. Yeah,
Well, yeah, the
no
steel.
one, yeah, no one's buying that car, not just
I
steel,
haven't looked into
plastic.
it.
Oil is plastic. So those plastic parts are going to get expensive too. So
Well,
what is going to happen to bring this back? We don't know. We need
but
a miracle
but
worker.
it's not just that. It's that people can't afford it.
Oh, yes, that's right. Nobody can afford
Why
it,
can't they afford it? Because their food costs more, because their
and
rent
people
costs
are
more,
losing jobs. People
and
are
people
losing
are
their jobs.
losing jobs out.
Industries are going down the toilet, and that's causing them to fire people.
I thought I had something here about the jobs. I don't see it right off the bat,
Now you
but
better be careful because whoever our boss is gonna fire you for not doing your job.
whoever is our boss. Okay.
I'm sure there's somebody who's our boss.
So somebody's keeping an eye on us.
We're
Uh,
trying, we're trying.
and as the gas prices just go sky high, first of all, this thing about let's end the war but let's give it 60 days, all of this nonsense has helped for the gas prices to actually, at least the cost of a barrel of gas, I believe, or of oil, has come down under $100, and that will help the gas prices. But that doesn't make any reflection on what we've already paid. We have paid so much in God, where again? How much? I had a thing here that told me how much we paid. It was just a ridiculous amount of money, and my notes are just all screwed up. I'm sorry. Let
What
me
do you wanna
see.
look at? Maybe I can find it for you.
I just want to find. I had a figure for how much we had spent. Here we go. Here we go. America has paid $59 billion more, $59 billion more for gas the war, since the war started. So, uh, and what they're saying is that the price you have had to pay for gas now has wiped out anything you might have gotten back on your taxes. That's the way this thing's looking at it,
Wow.
because you paid so much more in gas. The thing that he was like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't, you quit bitching about it. Don't even think about it. So what? A dollar or so more for a gallon of gas, big deal. I'm having a war. Remember that? That's what he was saying.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, there is so, I mean, it's really affected everything. So it's not just the tariffs anymore. Everything costs more money. But I am wondering, this thing with the tariffs. Now he is taking that to court. He doesn't want to pay back the businesses that paid illegal tariffs because
Well,
they were forced
he's
to.
he's gonna lose on that 'cause that's a different court, I believe, that handed down that decision. That was not like right? That wasn't like was that who let me ask.
It was
God,
a
what?
federal court.
But I don't think it's I think it's a different I think it's a,
You mean
trade.
out of
Trade has its own court.
Oh, okay. All
Uh,
right.
which let me see, let me Google it. So which court, uh oh, no, okay. So, the Supreme Court struck down his flagship Liberation Day tariffs. The High Court ruled that the administration did not have the authority to unilaterally impose broad across the board tariffs under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. That's what he's always doing. It's a security risk to the country. But the US Court of International Trade, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Following the Supreme Court's defeat, the administration pivoted and enacted a backup plan, a temporary 10% global tariff invoking blah, 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 blah. Then on May 7th, the CIT, the Court of International Trade, stepped in and ruled 2-1 that this backup plan was also invalid, stating that the administration improperly used the statute. Yeah. So that court, you're not going to get, he's not going to be able to do anything with them. That's a
Well,
very
and all these other business have now sued to get their money back.
Yeah, of course they have because they're screwed.
But they're not going to get it back for a
No, they're
while,
not. No,
and he's gonna
not
play
until
this
this
little
man is
game.
pushing up daisies. They're not gonna get a
So,
cent back.
do we have any idea of what tariffs have actually stayed in place? Like,
Well,
whoops,
that's
does Canada Still, do we still have a tariff with Canada for 50% on steel?
I'm typing in what tariffs are still in place. Does anybody know? Because I don't think
Well,
they know.
well, I'm looking at
I
I'm
think
looking at
that's the
this.
whole problem is nobody knows.
I'm looking at the steel from Canada because that affects all constructions with big buildings, and it also affects cars. And I mean, right now when there's
Got a list here. Oh God. And it says it says because of the wait, let me go back here. Because of a flurry of recent court decisions, appeals, and older laws, the landscape of what is actually being collected at the border right now is incredibly messy. Despite the high profile court losses, a significant number of tariffs are still actively in place. So the 10% universal global tariff is active via the appeal stay or whatever. So, following the Supreme Court striking down the Liberation Day tariffs in February, the administration immediately enacted a backup 10%. Okay. While the U.S. Court of International Trade ruled this illegal, the CIT declined to issue a blanket nationwide injunction. They just said it was illegal, but they didn't do an injunction. And the administration appealed, and the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals issued a temporary stay. And because of this, the 10% global tariff remains in effect for almost all importers while the legal battle plays out. Now, let's see what else is
so
there.
when he's talking about 25, 35%, 50% tariffs, those things aren't happening anymore, regardless of what country it is.
Well, it's here we go. The administration announced massive overhauls of the tariffs, and uh, this these remain untouched. Metals, tariffs on cars, steel, aluminum, copper, and derivative products, with some rates reaching as high as 50%. Pharmaceuticals, highly punitive tariffs of up to 100% on patented pharmaceutical imports. Each one of these has a drop down, and it probably goes on for forever. Industry and tech, ongoing or proposed duties on large scale batteries, plastics, industrial chemicals, and telecommunications equipment. Country specific tariffs, the fentanyl tariffs, stacking a 20% punitive tariff on top of general rates for specific countries like China, Mexico, and Canada, linked by the administration to drug smuggling. The reciprocal, I mean, this goes on and on and on. There are still a shit ton of tariffs going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even though the courts have said you can't do that, that's illegal.
They appealed, and the Court of Appeals said, well, the CIT didn't put an injunction which would stop it. So they said until such time as that happens or the actual appeal comes to the court, they remain in place, which is backwards. Usually when you have something that is so highly disputed, they stop it and they say it'll remain stopped until we get to court and decide that it's okay. So it's just 180 degrees. So that means that there must be a lot of Trump favorable judges in that appeals court.
Yeah.
I would guess. I mean, I
Well,
can't.
and isn't that
Backwards? It's just backwards. It's just not the way it
perfect? Perfect. It just goes right. Let's go to the top of the line with the Supreme Court, and it filters on down. And anybody that Trump put in there does this kind of stuff, and it's just absolutely wrong. And
Yep.
right now, America is so. I mean, people are just getting really upset, and they're getting screwed because there's things are costing so much money. It's causing so much anxiety.
Yeah.
So the higher prices on fuel, the higher prices on bare essentials, food,
Yeah.
toilet paper, toothpaste, just
Yeah.
regular stuff. If you've noticed, if you've gone to the grocery store, it keeps going up week by week. I suppose in some places it's day by day, but I was just like, I'd gone to the store a week ago and I was looking for something. I can't remember what it was, but it was like $7.59 or something. And I thought, well, that's ridiculous, but that's what you got to pay. I went back the next week and saw the same thing for $1 more, $8.59.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? I thought things were settling down. No, they're not. They're not.
Down. No. And I eat a lot of the plant-based foods because I don't eat meat have they have risen in price, but not as much as meat. Most
Oh,
meat
meat, you
is
oh, please.
right away. Meat doubled, and it just keeps going up from there. It's crazy.
I do eat meat. I love a good steak,
Well,
especially
I
the
got
ones that come from Costco, and we're talking
you might
15.
try the Impossible Burger or the Prager's
Oh, a
American
burger?
Burger.
No, no, I'm
Yeah,
talking
you
about a
might try
nice
it.
juicy steak.
Well,
15.99 a pound right now. 15.99 a pound. That means if you get a decent sized steak and maybe we'll share it with somebody else, your part's going to be $30. I mean, it's just no, the price of beef has just gone through the roof. The price of those steaks used to be about 8 to $9 a pound. And now
now
it's
how often are you eating a steak these
that's
days?
none of your business.
Well, you brought it up.
What does it got to do with that? I probably have steak a couple times a month. But I
Okay.
don't eat burgers. The price of hamburger, the last I saw at Costco, and I know it's so much more. If it's 15.90, if it's 15.99 a pound for steak at Costco, it's probably
12.
18.99 or
Oh, oh,
20.99 at the grocery store.
yeah.
It's a lot more money. I mean,
But
Costco
what
is
about hamburger at Costco?
hamburger at Costco. The last I look is about between $6 and $7 a pound. That means it's probably $10 a pound at the grocery store. I haven't
Okay,
looked, I don't know,
okay.
but it's way more at the grocery store. So, yeah, no, I could not believe it. But
Wow.
it's amazing what you'll put money out for when you want something like that.
Well, food, when I started having all of my issues with eating, I was just like, well, you know what? I'm just going to pay for what I can eat because I got to eat. And, just it's, it just doesn't, hang on. I'm just, signing
Well,
into my
because
grocery store here so I can check out how much it costs for a hamburger where I live.
yeah, I mean, every single thing has gone up, and it's because of the gas. It's because of the tariffs. It's because of every single thing that Trump has done. We would not be having this problem at all if he was not president. And so people are fed up. I got to tell you, I wasn't going to bring this up today, but I've read in more than one place on the internet that Trump is the most hated president ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ever.
Not surprised.
Throughout the world. I mean, that's a horrible thing to say, the most hated president ever, and it's because of all this stuff that's going on, and his his supporters, they're falling by the wayside. They've had it. They can't keep up, and they've tried their best to, well, and there's still a few that will linger in there, especially if you've got money. If you've got money and you're a Trump supporter, then you're pretty damn happy because your money is probably making money. But if you're just the average Joe citizen that is a mega person, they're done with him. They're just done with him. And so even when it comes up that he thinks that things are going to get a little bit better because he's got these big talks about the war and we're going to stop this and that, even though they're still bombing the place, which made no sense. He likes to say this kind of stuff like, "Yeah, we're going to sit on this for 60 days, and if they do this and that, then everything will be fine." And then the stock market goes, "Oh, thank God! We're what a relief! This is a relief." No, this is BS. This is what Trump always does. It's just like China, 100%, 150% tariff on everything, which is just crazy making. So what does he do? Oh no, never mind. He brings it back down. Then he brings it back up. If he doesn't like what they said about him, he brings it back up. It has nothing to do with what the American people are going for. He are going through, excuse me. He does not care. He does not care.
He doesn't
So
care.
did you find what the price of beef was?
Yeah, so for ground beef, 85% lean, 15% fat, it's 5.99 a pound
Where?
in my area.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
Uh, but
and
if you want to get the more hoity-toity beef that's, grass fed or whatever,
grain
that,
fed.
that's only $1 more a pound. 6.99 a pound.
So between $6 and $7 a pound for ground
Yeah.
beef. That's still outrageous. I'm used to paying $2.99 a pound for
Oh, I
ground
know.
beef.
I know. Now here's the organic ground beef. That's almost 10, that's $10 a pound. Yeah. So that's a lot. Now, gosh, this is, crazy. I'm going to compare it to my plant-based burgers.
There is no comparison.
You get a lot of
Plant
protein in them.
plant-based burgers. Oh, bah humbug. Not my thing. I like natural everyday, it's just like I don't like artificial anything. I don't like low fat milk. I don't like uh pop with aspartame in it instead of sugar. Um I like whole milk. I like a decent steak, not something made out of tofu. That's just me. But I gotta tell you, I think there's a lot more people like me than there are. But probably not. I don't know. I don't know. I know there's a lot of people that, they want to be vegan and they want to be vegetarian and they want to eat all this healthy, good stuff. And then they find out that the bottled water they've been drinking is filled with plastic that you've been ingesting for years. So I don't know. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, yeah, honestly, I mean, that's true. We do have a shitty food system. But my Impossible Burgers, I think,
And they're called Impossible Burgers.
Impossible or Beyond Burgers, yeah. I think that, let's see, there's
Oh,
24.
people are gonna come down on me. Please, please. I'm teasing my sister here about her diet.
Well, a 12-ounce package of Impossible ground beef is $8. So that's comparable, I think, to the price of regular ground beef, because this is more.
No, it's
Oh, no,
actually
no, 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 it's more expensive. No, it's more
yeah. Did you say 12 ounces?
12
Six-
ounces.
Yeah, not 16 ounces to the pound. So
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
12 ounces is how much?
$8.
$8.
Hmm.
Yeah, highway robbery. And you don't even get a buzz off of that.
They're good.
They're good. Then they taste like meat?
Actually, they do. Sometimes I'm kind of like, ooh, this is kind of gross, but
Okay. Well,
yeah.
and I know some people, they don't want to eat meat and they like all these other alternatives.
Hmm.
I happen to be one of those. First of all, I'm a totally picky eater. I just like, meat, potatoes. I'm that kind of person. I don't eat fast foods. I don't hit
No
the
more Jack in the Box. Those days
Jack in the
are done.
Box or McDonald's. When I was younger, oh hell yes. Taco Bell, love it. But not anymore. So yeah, I'm just giving you a bad time about tofu burgers and stuff. Boy, how can you call tofu a burger? I don't know.
Well, now here, wait a minute. 4 ounces, 2 count. Does that mean each one is? Oh God, I can't even figure this out. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
so let's just talk. We're getting down to the wire here of the show, and some of the things that Trump is doing. One of them is the ballroom, the 400 million,
The
the
ballroom.
400 million dollar ballroom that has now gone up to about $1 billion for this ballroom because it's so important.
Yay. Oh, sorry.
And then there's the gold leaf horse statues near the Lincoln Memorial. He is taking these statues and spending $5 million. It says right here in the article, $5 million in taxpayer funds to cover 4 large bronze horse statues in 23.75 karat gold leaf as part of a rushed beautification push ahead of the 250th anniversary. And the critics are warning of the waste, the cronyism, and potential damage to historical monuments. But this is the
What happened to this man as a child that causes him to do these things?
well,
My God.
he's been very rich. His dad was rich, gave him a bunch of money. He got rich on that money, and so he likes everything in gold because he wants to be a king. Um, yeah, I mean, he's the things he's doing. The thing about what is the reflective
The
pool or
reflecting
the
pool. Yeah, the reflecting pool.
and now they're finding I can't remember. I haven't been paying. There's so many other things.
I
I
know.
haven't been
I
paying
know.
attention to that one,
I
but
know.
I think they found something that is going to make it cost even more to do whatever it is he's doing. He should not be painting that. It's a reflective pool. No, you don't add blue to that, but that's what I think he's doing. I don't
Well, no,
know.
you have to paint it a dark color so that it is dark and it can
What
reflect.
was it ever painted?
Originally, probably, yeah. Yeah, when they created it. But it's been however many years ago that it was created. And the group that they hired to do this didn't know how to do it. They were, I think, like a pool company or something. So he hires this group that doesn't have any idea what they're doing. And he says, "Oh, you should paint it a pretty, blue like a swimming pool." And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, we can do that." Well,
No, no. Do you know why how a swimming pool gets
yes,
blue?
they're painted white.
No, they're not painted. That's the color of the stuff that they use to
Well,
make the
yeah, but
swimming
the
pool.
stuff is just
And
white.
then around the edge of every swimming pool is a blue tile. A
Okay.
blue tile. So between the sky, the
Mhm.
sun, and the
Uh-huh.
reflection, it appears to look blue.
Yeah.
Just like the ocean.
Well,
Just
some oceans, not all oceans look
nobody is out painting the bottom of the ocean.
no,
It's
nobody.
just not happening.
No.
So, anyway, all these things that he's throwing money away on, in the meantime, people are suffering with the price of gas, which
Yep.
elevated the price of everything.
Yep.
Um, and it's not funny about what people are going through when they're trying to feed their kids, they're trying to keep a roof over their head, they're trying to pay the mortgage, and they're having a tough time doing it, and they're losing jobs. We have lost more jobs in this last oh, what is it? Like the last 3 months. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just plummeted as far as job growth is there's no job growth right now. No matter what you read or hear or what anybody
Yeah.
wants to say, it's not happening. You will hear opposite that because Trump likes to take a different spin on things so that they can decide that things are really going well. He keeps thinking if he tells us it's going well, people will believe it's going well, and then we'll all feel better about it, and then magically it'll get better. Just like COVID. Remember the magic involved in that? Like it's here today, but just wait. Pretty soon
Poof,
it'll like
poof, it'll
magic.
be gone.
It'll just be gone.
By Easter, it'll be gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
so this says that for gross layoffs, for net job losses or gross layoffs and discharges, 5.4 million people in the last 3 months.
In the last 3 months, it's
Yeah.
just that is a lot of people. And that doesn't even count all the federal workers that were just arbitrarily
Already, yes, yes, that's
pushed out
right.
of their jobs.
Let me find out how many that is.
Oh, I we had it on another show. It's like it's not millions, but it was a lot of people. Or it might be millions now. I don't know. But yes, the lack of jobs. And now that you tell me that the tariffs, I thought, well, of course, even though he's taken this to court about wanting to pay people back, of course, the tariffs have changed because those were illegal. Apparently, that's wrong. I will look into it further, and when I find out, you guys will find out. I will let you know. But yeah, this is just crazy making stuff. And Trump is so busy remodeling and putting his name, the 250-foot arched tower that he wants to put up, which is going to block the view of something that's been there for I don't know how many hundreds of years. This is a typical Trump trick, and he gets so pissed when people don't agree with him. But
Yeah.
people are having a very hard time with this, and like I said, and I hate saying that, it's that he's the most hated president
For sure.
in
Sure.
history.
Um, I did get a number on the people who of federal workers. So between 260 and 348,000.
Yeah, that sounds exactly. Yeah, that sounds right.
That's about what
Exactly.
I thought. I knew it was a couple 100,000. And also, what has complicated that is that there has been a hiring freeze. Where did that go? Where did that go? Network work shrinkage. Because the administration also instituted a severe hiring freeze, the overall civilian federal workforce shrank by 10.3%, a net loss of roughly 238,000 jobs, bringing the workforce down significantly. Yeah. So,
Which is less money going out for the government, which supposedly the government would be sitting on all this money, but they are spending billions of dollars for a war that we don't wanna be involved in.
but not
For a
only that, for in all other ways, domestically, they are just spending like a drunken sailor. I mean, the gold leaf horses, the reflecting pool, just so many
the
things.
ballroom.
I mean, at least in the first administration, we heard about who was it? Some guy who was like remodeling his office to the tune of several $1,000,000, bought something like a $500,000 conference room table for his office or some crap. We don't even hear now. They don't, it doesn't even make the news, the kinds of things that they are spending on. Like all the stuff that Christy Nome did with doing ads for Homeland Security to the tune of several $1,000,000 for what? Who okayed that? We don't know. And all the other cabinet members,
Oh,
I'm
she
sure.
wasted she w the gnome, she wasted so much money, so much money.
Yeah, and, all of them are doing this because I think they're encouraged to do it. They're encouraged to try to impress him with what they're doing, and it means they're spending money like drunken sailors. Pete Hegseth and this war and, said out loud, "Yes, we need $1 billion more for this, that, the other thing for, Pentagon spending," and just like, "What? You crazy." I mean, we're up to 52 minutes. I don't know, but, um,
Okay, so, no, but here's the final note, here's something to look forward to is the big birthday bash with Trump.
oh,
Trump's gonna head it off on himself. So, we'll see how well that goes. Where it's just another excuse for him to have a rally. It's something he knows how to do, where he just gets up there and lies and lies and lies, and then looks around like, "Look what I've done." And for everybody that sees that now, I mean, they put up with it before, and they just thought, "Oh, he must have done something great because he says he did," and nobody is saying anything different. Now others are saying something different. They have is
my
that the
cat is
cat?
right in front of me. I can't even see what you're
A
saying.
and now they are saying something different, and they're not following in his footsteps, and they're not pleased, and it's just he's really, really hurting the country, and he will tell you exactly the opposite, and he'll blame it all on the Democrats. Trust me, well, you don't have to trust me, but it's just absolutely not true. The Democrats, if God willing, the Democrats take over the House and the Senate, you will start to see this all turn around. But just like I said earlier, there was some situations that it's going to take years, and it's not the fault of anybody that's changing it.
Like the tariffs, like
And like
like the situation with oil and the Strait of Hormuz. Those things are not getting turned around easily.
no, and when they do, it doesn't change things
Mm-mm,
quickly.
mm-mm.
It's just finally back to normal, and you think, "Oh, everything's gonna be great now." No, it's not.
No, look at
So
all those hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people actually in the United States who have lost work because not for a variety of reasons. The company went bust. The heads of the company just decided to retire, so the company went under. The industry went bust. Look at the tourist and the hospitality
oh,
industry
yeah, the
is
hospitality by
greatly.
the
I keep
by the
bringing it up
way.
because they're so diminished. They're so
Yes, and you're
diminished.
absolutely right.
Nobody's coming here for a vacation. Nobody is coming to, New Jersey and saying, "Oh, I usually live in Italy, but hey, let's go to New Jersey and have a good time." Nobody is doing that.
And that's something I was going to talk about today was the hotels and this FIFA thing that's happening this
Oh
month
yeah.
or in
Nobody's
June.
paying those exorbitant prices. Nobody's
Yes,
paying for that.
that the hotels are getting overrun with cancellations. People aren't coming. Uh,
Nope.
they've got this the industry insiders cite rising anti-American sentiment, and you know what that's all about. Tied tied to the current political climate. It's a
Mhm.
major factor that's going to ruin it. And these we were especially in Seattle and other cities were expecting a big influx of money from FIFA.
That's right.
And now it doesn't appear to be happening. Not only that, all the people that have made not all, a lot though. I mean, it's putting a dent in this. It's really causing damage. And if even if the the hotels and stuff don't do well, the cities have also put millions of dollars into little renovations and things so that people could come to Seattle and enjoy these games. And the same thing happening wherever else they're at. I think
I'll tell
California.
you. I can tell you exactly which cities. I just pulled it up. Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Miami. Now it says New York/New Jersey. That's because the stadiums are in New Jersey. So if people are coming to New York, they're going to end up coming to New Jersey. Philadelphia, or not coming to New Jersey if they're not coming. Philadelphia, the San Francisco Bay Area, and Seattle.
So,
So it's a
but
shit show this summer for all of those cities because they did put a lot of money into getting
I
ready
wonder
for this,
millions, millions.
and it's just not nobody's actually coming. Well, and a lot of people from around the world are looking at these cities and saying, "So how are we supposed to get from the airport to the hotel to the place where the games are played? They don't have mass transit going there."
Well, we do in Seattle. We've been working on it for quite a while now, and
Yeah.
we've got little trains going all over the place, and
Mhm.
they've made some especially for this event.
Yeah, but a lot of these cities don't. I think San Francisco is pretty good. You said Seattle was. In New Jersey, our mass transit consists of a bus system that is not really that great. It's geared towards getting New Jersey commuters from wherever they live into New York City. But these games are not taking place in New York City. They're taking place in the stadiums in New Jersey, in the Meadowlands, the swamplands. Los Angeles, I don't think has good mass transit. Um, Miami, I don't think has it. I don't know. Houston might. I don't know. I don't know about these other cities, but I don't hear about, ooh, great high speed mass transit happening in those cities. I don't hear about that.
Wow.
So,
Well, we're coming to the end of the show,
my God,
so
yes, we're way over.
thanks for hanging in there. If you're still watching this, that's great.
Yeah.
We will be back. Let's see. Next week things will be a little different, but one way or another, I might be back, but I don't know if Colleen will, or excuse me, Pearl. Her name's Colleen Pearl. If she will be back because she is going on a vacation and I'm not. So we'll be back in a week, one way or the other.
We'll be back one way or another. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.